What happens when you put together Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Taika Waititi, along with some other big names and allow them to play in the Star Wars universe? Let's just say it's something that's really cool and really amazing. Now, as a special bonus, Bobcat the Legend has provided the perfect track for this particular episode. It's titled This Is the Way, and it's a great remix to the theme of this episode's main topic, The Mandalorian Season 1. So, if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell because it's time that we cue up our intro and get things started. What's going on? And thanks for checking out To Be Continued With. I'm Mike, and today we're breaking down the first season of The Mandalorian, a show that is introducing a new character to a universe that is, well, no pun intended, universally known and loved. This series takes on the task of expanding on this universe and doing so by using a character that is not only new, but already has a built-in mystique. You see, he's working off the foundation laid out by Boba Fett in the original trilogy, specifically The Empire Strikes Back, as we are introduced to Din Djarin, who's played by Pedro Pascal, and he's another badass bounty hunter who also happens to be a Mandalorian, and we see this right out of the gate because the show starts off on a snowy planet and we see our main character being introduced as a cool, mysterious, tough guy when he walks into a bar and he takes out some guys as he's trying to locate his bounty. He tells his bounty that he could bring him in warm or he could bring him in cold, as his cool-ass theme music plays in the background. Now, after making his way back to his ship, which is named the Razor Crest, with his bounty, he heads to the planet Navarro to collect his pay from Greef Karga, who's played by Carl Weathers. Now, one thing to note that this series is taking place around 5 years after the ending of Return of the Jedi, and the galaxy is in a transition phase which affects the currency, and Din is looking to make the most money that he can. With that being said, he takes on another job from Karga, and it's a good one that pays extremely well. You see, it's a job for an ex-Imperial officer that needs to bring something in alive, and it seems to be of high importance. The payment is Beskar, which is a rare metal that is actually used by the Mandalorian people to make their armor and weapons. Now, if you don't know, Beskar happens to be one of the most strongest metals in the galaxy and is able to protect against blasters and was worn by the Mandalorians due to their beef with the Jedis a long time ago. Now, the bounty is so secret that he's not told what it is or shown what it is, only given a tracker so he could find it. From there, we're actually introduced to the Arbor, who happens to be a Mandalorian blacksmith. She is given the piece of Beskar that he received as a down payment for his new gig, and she creates a new shoulder pad for our lead character. From there, Din makes his way to our favorite planet with two suns, Tatooine, home planet to a well-known family of Skywalkers. Not you. Anyway, there he meets an Ugnaught named Quill who decides to help him out on his mission because he has spoken. Now, after some time, Din finds the location to his bounty, but he ends up cutting a deal with another bounty hunter named IG-11 because IG-11 got there first, and now they're both getting attacked by some pirates, so they have no other option but to team up and work together. And I will say that they make a pretty good team because the two of them take out about 20 to 30 different pirates. They end up entering the bunker and they find what they're looking for. But Din is thrown for a loop because the bounty hunters have come across a green gremlin baby. It's here that we're introduced to Baby Yoda. Now, mind you, it's not actually Yoda as a baby, but it's one of his species who happens to be about 50 years old and basically looks like a baby version of Yoda. Now, Din does end up taking out IG-11 because he was instructed to bring the baby in dead, which would really mess up Din's money. Now, with Baby Yoda, aka the child in his possession, Din heads back to the Razor Crest and he sees that it's stripped down by Jawas. If you remember, these little fuckers have a really good business going on because ever since the original Star Wars movie, they like to take shit that doesn't belong to them and resell that shit to others. And I'm telling you now, it's a lucrative business But anyway, it's here that Din reconnects with Quill, who brings him to meet with the Jawas so that they can cut out a deal for the parts of his ship. The deal is that if Din is able to get his hands on the egg of a Mudhorn, then he can get back the parts to his ship. Now, a Mudhorn is a giant rhino-type beast, and Din goes in to get the egg, but gets attacked by one of these beasts. Din is simply no match against the Mudhorn and gets his ass kicked in the fight. And right when he's about to get his light stomped out, we find out that Baby Yoda is actually force sensitive. You see, the child levitates the creature, which allows Din to stab it and take it down for the count. Din then returns with the egg. He gets his parts back from the Jawas, and with some help from Quill, repairs the Razor Quest. He then heads back to the planet Navarro to collect his payment, and during this trip, the child wakes up from his nap. Because when he used the Force on that Mudhorn, it really took a lot out of the little guy, and he needed to recharge his batteries and sleep it off. Now, Din does meet up with the Imperial officer that hired him, along with Dr. Pershing, who is an Imperial cloning specialist. And Dr. Pershing confirms that the child is indeed the one that they're looking for. And Din gets paid a shitload of Beskar. From there, Din pays a visit to the armorer again, and she states that she's going to hook him up with new armor and new weapons from all that Beskar that he just got paid. Now, something that I want to make mention of is that throughout this particular series, we are shown some flashbacks. And it's through these flashbacks that we're shown a little bit of Din Djarin's origin. It seems that during the time of the prequel trilogy, when he was a kid, his planet and home was attacked by battle droids. The battle droids were killing everything in their path until a group of Mandalorians showed up and made the save. We basically find out that Din isn't a Mandalorian by blood, but is what they call a foundling. He was taken in and basically raised by them. Anyway, getting back to the story at hand, the Mandalorian is now sporting some new shiny armor and is looking for his next job. Now, even though he's off on another adventure, he doesn't feel right about leaving the child with those shady ex-Imperial guys. So what does he do? He heads back to see what they're really up to and what they're going to do with Baby Yoda. Now, he takes out some battered and old stormtroopers, and he rescues and basically kidnaps the child that he kidnapped. The problem for him now is that he has a bounty on his head, and every bounty hunter in the galaxy is after his ass. On his way to his ship, he ends up getting surrounded, but he doesn't make it easy for those that are trying to take him out. Now, he's not really a match for all the bounty hunters because they outnumber him. And just as things get crazy and don't look good, a bunch of Mandalorians show up, swoop in for the save. Now, we saw a few of them before with the armorer, and even though they didn't really care too much for Din, you have to understand, he is still a Mandalorian, and they always take care of their own. Now, this is a great start to an amazing show that's extremely entertaining and adds so many new elements to an established and familiar universe. Besides the fact that it's having an old school Western movie type vibe and showing action and having the story flow naturally is definitely a plus. Now, some stars that came into this are great additions, but the voice talents of Nick Nolte as Quill and Taika Waititi as IG-11 were a welcome surprise. Now, with this being part 1, make sure that you subscribe and like the episode since we appreciate the support. But if you can also like, share, and comment, that'd be great too, because I would love to hear what you think about this Disney Plus Lucasfilm series. Now, don't forget to hit that bell so that you're notified about part 2 of our coverage for The Mandalorian Season 1. And if you're feeling the tunes for this breakdown, make sure that you show some love and support to Bobcat the Legend. Again, the title track used for this episode is called This Is the Way. It's another hit by our partner in crime, and as always, the link is below in the description for his YouTube and Spotify page. Now, with the first half of Season 1 under wraps, make sure that you check out part 2, because just like the name of this channel, our breakdown of the first season of The Mandalorian is simply to be continued with.
Bobcat the Legend.